السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Dear brothers and sisters, can we just move up, please? Jazakumullah khair. Make room for your other brothers and sisters who are coming, and know that that is an act of iman. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِذَا قِيلَ لَكُمْ تَفَسَّحُوا فِي الْمَجَالِسِ فَافْسَحُوا يَفْسَحِ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. O you who believe, if it's told to you to make room, Allah calling us by as believers, if it's asked of you to make room for your brothers and sisters and make room, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make room, He'll give you blessings through that. Jazakumullah khair. إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him because we love Him, because we submit to Him, because He is worthy of praise. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from our evil actions and the consequences of our evil actions. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, then no one can misguide. And whoever is misguided, then only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can guide them. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His blessings to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and to his ummah, to his followers and those who claim to be Muslims and followers of his religion, the one who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Quran to. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise His ranks in our hearts and amongst mankind. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. And be conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have taqwa in your lives. And know that one of the rewards of taqwa is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you accuracy, gives you steadfastness, and He makes your life that much easier. Amma ba'd. We follow Islam, and that makes us Muslim. And as Muslims, we apply Islam in our lives. And Islam is something meant to encompass every aspect of our lives. Meaning, our body lives by Islam, our mind lives by Islam, and our hearts live by Islam. And Islam, what is it? The word is beautiful. And I mention this again just to kind of push it that much more. Islam, as a root, comes from the word salima, which means free from deficiency, free from that which is undesired, free from that which harms you. So in the Arabic language, till this day, we use the word salim to refer to someone who got out okay. They weren't hurt in the accident. So he was free. He was able to escape or exit a bad situation, free of any deficiencies or harm. That is its origin. And as an application, something that you apply, Islam means submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the one who is a Muslim, by applying Islam, they free themselves from any deficiencies or undesired consequences. That is a Muslim. So a Muslim is striving for freedom. But the way we understand freedom is a little different than modern times, where freedom is doing as much as you can. That's what freedom is. No, in Islam, freedom is about doing. It's also about not doing. The don'ts. This is haram. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes something haram. Why? To protect us from something that will enslave us. So as Muslims, we are people who strive for freedom. Individually, communally, socially, politically. So we are people, by applying Islam, we become Muslims and we free ourselves. So our hearts are free, our minds are free, and our bodies are free. And the Quran uses the word Muslim and the word Islam with pride, with meaning, with legacy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمُ, the nation of your father Ibrahim alayhi salam, هُوَ سَمَّاكُمُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَفِي هَذَا. He is the one who named you Muslimin. He gave you this name, Muslimin. With pride, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it, so be proud that you are a Muslim. By realizing that you are free from that which is harmful, that which is deficient. And that you have a legacy that you follow, that starts with Ibrahim alayhi salam, rather it goes back to Adam alayhi salam. Because every prophet came with the same message, and that is La ilaha illallah, Qulu la ilaha illallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, say it with pride. When you engage with people of other religions, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ, say, O people of the book, تَعَالَوْا إِلَى كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ. Let's come to a common theology. Let's discuss, let's debate, and come to common terms. And those terms are La ilaha illallah, that there's nothing worthy worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then at the end of this verse in Surah Ali Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا, and if they turn away, they don't accept this theology, فَقُولُوا اشْهَدُوا بِأَنَّا مُسْلِمُونَ, then say to them, bear witness that we are Muslims, with pride. And in another verse, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to proclaim your faith, He says, قُلْ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. And it lists prophets. Say that we believe in what has been revealed to us, the Quran. And we believe in what was revealed to the prophets before us, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail and Ishaq, and the list goes on. And at the end of the verse it says that we are Muslims. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. And we are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Muslims, and meaning we are submissive to Him. We submit to Him, and through that we find our freedom. So being a Muslim is something we should be proud of, but in order to be proud of it, we need to understand what it brings us, what it offers us, and that is freedom. And in order to strengthen this meaning, we need to know who we submit to. And in Islam, we have this concept of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah, the Prophet teaches us, Allah has 99 names. And whoever memorizes them, whoever applies them and sees them in their life, then that is their key to paradise. So today I want to look at just 3 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how that can affect our lives and strengthen this concept of Muslim, that we are submissive to Him and through that we find our freedom. Name number 1, Al-Hamid. So one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names is Al-Hamid, which comes from the root Hamd, Hamida. And every khutbah we start off by saying, Inna alhamdulillah. That praise is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the Arabic language in its eloquence, and its strength, and its richness, by the conjugate, when you morph a word, it gives it just that much more meaning. So Hamid comes from the root Hamida, so it has the meaning of praise. But when it's conjugated or morphed into this form, what it means is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praised, worthy of praise, whether people praise Him or not. Because He Himself is the source of praise. He Himself is praiseworthy because He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik, Al-Quddus, Al-Salam, Al-Mu'min, Al-Muhaymin, and the list goes on. So because of that, He is praiseworthy. So even if there's no one on the face of this earth or in the universe who praises Allah, who says Alhamdulillah, Allah is still worthy of praise. Because He is perfect. That is Al-Hamid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when Allah has a name, it's not just He has a name and we call Him who He is Al-Hamid and that's it. No, that name is reflected in His actions. It's reflected in His books in the Quran. It's reflected in the messengers that He chooses. So because He is worthy of praise, His book is worthy of praise. And the prophets that He chooses are worthy of praise. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the first person to be named Muhammad, comes from the same root, Hamd. But in this morphation of the word Hamd, Muhammad means the one who is praised over and over and over again. So he is the one who is praised most. And every second on this earth there's someone saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. So he is the one praised over and over again. So Allah chose him because Allah is Al-Hamid. He only chooses those who are praiseworthy to represent Him. And look at Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's life. It's full of praise. Look at him. Even before he was a prophet, he was praised by his people for his honesty, for his dignity, for his helping of others, for his generosity. And the list goes on. And after being a Muslim, becoming a Muslim, he is still praiseworthy in the way he dealt with his companions. To the point where every companion, from how much the Prophet ﷺ made them feel good about themselves, every companion thought that the Prophet loves him the most, or her the most. That was his relationship with his companions. And his relationship with his enemies, the opposition, those who would curse him and swear at him and make dua against him, was also praiseworthy. So as he's walking down the streets of Medina, one of his opposition says to him, Assam alayk, Muhammad. And the scholars have two different opinions what this means. Either death upon you, O Muhammad, or may disease be upon you. And he's walking by and Aisha radiallahu anha is with him. So she replies, defending her husband, says, Bal Assam alayk. No, that is upon you. So what was the Prophet's reply? He says, Ilfaqiya ya Aisha. Inna Allah rafiq yuhibbur rifq. He says, be compassionate, Aisha. Be soft. Soften yourself. Allah is the compassionate. He loves those who are compassionate. That is praiseworthy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He acts, when He creates, when He does something, when He chooses someone, He chooses it because that person is worthy of that position. And He chooses someone who is praiseworthy, like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Ibrahim alayhi salam, like Isa, like Musa, and all the prophets. But it even goes beyond that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes His religion, ila sirat al-aziz al-hamid. ألف لام را كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بإذن ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد. That this book, the Quran, is a book that was revealed to you to take people out of darkness and into light, from oppression into freedom, from being enslaved to being free, to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Aziz, the path that you cannot overpower it. So Islam is strong. And also a path that is praiseworthy. And therefore anyone who follows this path, you'll find that they are worthy of praise. And look at Abu Bakr. Anyone who Islam enters their heart and they start applying it, what happens to them? Say, MashaAllah, look at that person. That person is worthy of praise. That person has good manners, has good ethics, good character. That person is striving, does a lot of good. And we see this in those who apply Islam, at the character that it builds in them, within them, how it affects a community. Look at the Arabs, what they were before Islam. They would walk around the Kaaba naked, saying that our clothes are full of sin, we can't wear it in front of the Kaaba, which is silly. They would eat dead meat, carcass that is rotten. They'd eat it, saying that, oh, Allah killed it. So therefore it's pure, it's okay. And they would do lewd acts. They would worship stone, inanimate objects, thinking that it benefits them, that there's purpose in it. To the point where Umar radiallahu anh describes that one time he wanted to worship a god. He wanted to worship. So he took his dates, kind of made a form of a person, worshipped it a little bit, and then ate it. It's laughable. It's laughable. But when Islam entered their hearts, what did they become? They became praiseworthy. So by knowing Allah as Al-Hamid and following His religion, being Muslim to Allah, you become praiseworthy. Number 2 is Al-A'la. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name is Al-A'la. And we say this every time we prostrate, put our heads down to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-A'la, the highest. Subhana Rabbi Al-A'la. Praise be to the one who is the highest. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above everything in a way that our physical mind cannot comprehend. But He is above. He is the highest. And by being the highest, it means He's the mightiest. He's the strongest. No one can reach Him. And when you mess with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you mess with the Muslims, when you bother your fellow Muslim brother or sister, you're bothering someone who goes back to Al-A'la, the highest. That when you play around with the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you attack it, when you're Islamophobic, you're not just messing with a book, you're messing with the highest, Al-A'la, subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it goes beyond that. That when you understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as Al-A'la, the highest, it also modifies the rest of His names and attributes. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Alim, He is the most knowledgeable, He is the highest in knowledge. No one's more knowledgeable than Him. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Qawi, and His name Al-A'la raises His might to being the most mighty. And the Quran says, وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. And above every knowledgeable person is someone who is knowledgeable until we reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So by knowing Allah as Al-A'la, we know what? That He is above everything and He is the highest in every single aspect you could possibly think of. And therefore no one's greater than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this transcends to us. That when we follow the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our Prophet teaches us that if Allah has a name, He loves it when the servant, the Muslim, applies that name in their life, with the exception of a few names. So if someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Alim, yuhibbul ulama. Allah is knowledgeable, He loves those who are knowledgeable, scholars. Allah Kareem, yuhibbul kurama. Allah is generous, He loves those who are generous. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Rahim, yuhibbul ruhama. Allah is merciful, He loves those who are merciful. So by applying the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you actually take from this name and you higher your own status amongst people. And we know the hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says if He loves someone, He tells it to Jibreel alayhi salam. And then Jibreel announces it to the people of the heavens. And then that keeps trickling down until the love of that person becomes in the hearts of people. So by being a Muslim, you essentially raise your own self, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-A'la, you worship the Al-A'la. And finally, the third name, Al-Jabbar, the mighty. The one who, anyone who transgresses, crosses the red lines, and Al-Jabbar takes care of them. When he talks about Ad and describes them, he says, Ad says, Man ashaddu minna quwwa. Who's more powerful than us? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّ اللَّهَ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُمْ هُوَ أَشَدَّ مِنْهُمْ قُوَّةً. He tells them, do they not know Allah, the one who created them, is more powerful than them? Then he says how he defeated them. With wind, something invisible. With wind. These people who are proud of their might. He sends wind and just takes care of them. Allah is Al-Jabbar, the mighty, where on the day of judgment he says, كَلَّا إِذَا دُكَّتِ الْأَرْضُ دَكًّا دَكًّا. That day, on the day of judgment, when the earth is shaken, وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. Imagine that day when the earth is just shattering. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and His angels, His army comes and surrounds human beings, showing His might. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is Al-Jabbar, but to this name is another secret. It's not just might. In the Arabic language, we use this word when a doctor heals a wound. Heals a broken arm, for example, a broken bone. We call it jabr. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only His might is powerful, and He will take care of anyone who transgresses, He also heals a broken heart. Al-Jabbar. He heals the wounds of someone going through a hard time. So by applying Islam, by being a Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you might. And He also heals the pain within yourselves. So these are just 3 names. If we are Muslim, we take from those names and we benefit. We increase ourselves, we strengthen ourselves, we motivate ourselves. And that is through being a Muslim, submitting yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. I'm going to ask you again, brothers and sisters, to please fill in the gaps, move up. Today we have a really full house. If there are any, jazakumullah khair. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, these are just 3 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you dive into them, you have a stronger understanding of them. You can see how it affects the way you view yourself, you view the world. And it gives you pride in being a Muslim. Because as a Muslim, you gain from these names. In Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's religion is hamd, praise. In His religion is increasing the status of those who follow it. By applying Islam, by being a Muslim, you are giving yourself strength. You are healing the wounds within yourselves. And this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By 3 names, 3 beautiful names, we know who we are worshipping. So when we say we are Muslim, we are submissive. We are submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know who we are submitting to. That this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala al-Hamid, al-A'la, al-Jabbar. That when we prostrate in prayer, we put our heads on the floor. In humble, we know who we are submitting to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The one who is worthy of being submitted to. قُولُوا لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and sisters, know who Allah is. And know that it is in your best interest to submit to Him. And know that the Quran uses this word Muslim with pride, with strength, because it is our source of pride. And anyone who has gone through phases in life, where they were previously not practicing and then practicing, they know how much Islam affects them. So apply it in your lives. Know who you submit to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us see His names and attributes in His religion, in the world around us, in our own selves. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen the concept of Islam and Muslim in our hearts. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us how to be good Muslims. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to teach us how to be proper Muslims in our daily lives. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to free our hearts, our minds, and our bodies from that which enslaves us through Islam. Jazakumullah khair. We have a few announcements. Make dua for brother Nihad Hafiz, who has been in a coma for several weeks. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him a speedy recovery and to grant his family patience. Also make dua for brother Abid Siddiqi and his wife Farah. Their child passed away just a few days ago. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to replace their loss, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them patience and steadfastness in their hard times. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to replace the void in their hearts, the sorrow in their hearts with happiness and love for Him. Also make dua for Zain. I don't know, the last name is not clear, so I apologize. Zain, who 27 years old, passed away of a heart attack. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant Him mercy and forgiveness, to overlook any shortcomings and to accept his good deeds and to increase in his good deeds. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make his grave a piece of paradise to protect him from any discomfort. And subhanAllah, this past month, there's been a lot of incidents like this, a lot of tragedies. So I've gone to a few funerals, burials, and I kind of look at the graves. Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, no one is guaranteed life. So many of these graves, the person is in their teens, their 20s, their 30s. Don't procrastinate, especially the youth. Don't wait. Pray your 5 daily prayers. It's not hard. Well, it's not hard. Pray your 5 daily prayers. Fast Ramadan. Stay away from major sins. You never know. Look, 27, a heart attack. Who has a heart attack at 27? SubhanAllah. No one is free from this. No one gets, they're okay. They're protected. No one. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us guidance to make things easier for us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your lives and give us all long lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect your children. And there is a athar, a saying by Luqman, radiallahu anhu, the one who's narrated or spoken about in the Quran. He says, "Man istawda'a shay'an lillah hafidhahu." Whoever asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect something, Allah will protect it for them. So when your kids leave, or whenever you think of your kids or your parents or a loved one, say, "Allahumma inni astawdi'akahu." Say, "Oh Allah, protect them, protect them." Always keep that whenever you remember. May Allah, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept that. Friday Quran class is tonight at 5 p.m. and the youth group, my OC, is at 7 p.m. My OC is having a family fun day at Glow Zone, which is in Huntington Beach on Saturday, August 4th. Registration is required. Also, a waiver must be filled out. And we are taking payment now, right? We're not taking payment at the event. The reason is when we need to take payment at the event, it takes up from the time. And the time is limited. We don't want to sit there waiting and everyone pays. No. If you're going, you're planning to go, pay beforehand. That's when we are accepting payment. OCIF is hosting a political advocacy training tomorrow, Saturday, from 2 to 6 p.m. presented by Honorable Sam Rasoon. The training is sponsored by CARE and MPAC. Visit our table outside to sign up for the training. It is free. But spaces are limited. So please come, youth come. This is training you how to be politically aware, political activism. Come, spend a few hours here and get experience from someone who is in the field. Also, there is a potential Umrah that we are considering for the OCIF community. Outside there are the sign-up sheets. It's not a commitment. We're just trying to get a feel of how many people are interested in going. And there are also two options, one in November, one in December. The one in December is a little bit more expensive. Actually, it's a bit more expensive, about $800 more expensive. But the advantage is that there's holidays during that time, and we set it up so where you'll only need to take 3 or 4 days off of work. So that is an advantage. If you are interested, please, after the khutbah, Brother Khalid will be outside with the sign-ups. Both options will be there. Sign up for the ones that you're interested in. If you're interested in both, sign up for both. And if you're interested in taking your wife or your children, sign them up as well, so we can have an idea of how many people would like to go. Also, we'll be starting a new halaqah, which I will be giving. It's called Speak Your Mind. It will be starting August 11th, which is Saturday. So it'll be every Saturday after Asr time, and it's for 16 years and older, male and female. 16 years and older, male and female. Again, that is starting August 11th, and it will be every Saturday after Asr prayer. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our good deeds. Allahumma ighfir lil muslimin wal muslimat wal mu'minin wal mu'minat al-ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka sami'un qareebun mujibud da'awat ya rabbal alamin. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa aqimus salat.